Good morning and welcome to VH Today with Rachel
and Maggie on this Wednesday, September 11th.
Curriculum Night is September 18th at 6:30 p.m. There will be an informational meeting about the 8th grade DC trip immediately after.
Cheerleading tryouts are today after school, Thursday the 12th, and Friday the 13th.
Tomorrow, September 12th, is the instrument rental night at 5:30 p.m. Go Band and Orchestra.
Fleece and Thank You provides comfort and hope to children battling illness by giving donors the unique opportunity to create a fleece blanket. RCS will be participating in Make a Blanket Day, which takes place on the Stony Creek football field between 12 and 4 p.m. To learn more about this fundraiser, go to ftyblanketday19.fundraise.org.
There will be a girls' basketball game on September 17th at 4 p.m. against Baker. Good luck!
There will be a 7th and 8th grade football scrimmages on September 19th at Adams against West. The 7th grade scrimmage will be at 4 o'clock, and the 8th grade scrimmage will be at 5:30.
The first day of cross-country practice is today, Wednesday, September 11th.
Are you interested in robotics and are a 7th or 8th grader? Then you should join. Go see Miss Deemer in room 132 before or after school. There will be more info on 6th grade robotics in coming weeks.
On October 4th, there will be an after-school activity.
October 9th will be Picture Retake Day. Make those smiles big.
VH Spiritwear is available online at www.vanhoosenspiritwear.com. More information is on the Viking Weekly.
Today is September 11th. 18 years ago on this day was a monumental day in our nation's history. To honor this day and the lives impacted by this day, we will now be sharing a clip from CNN 10 Today.
This just in, you are looking at obviously a very disturbing live shot there. That is the World Trade Center, and we have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers.
Another one just hit the building. Wow.
There are no words. It appears that something hit the Pentagon on the outside of the 5th corridor.
We have a report now that a large plane crashed this morning north of the Somerset County Airport, which is in western Pennsylvania. It all started at 8:45 on a clear Tuesday morning. We had a live camera up on what looked like a smoking slash across one of the World Trade Center towers. A passenger plane had flown into it, and I remember some of us here at CNN thinking this was some sort of freak event. Then a second plane flew into the other tower. That was at 9:03 a.m., and at that point there was this deepening dread in everyone. Something was wrong in a way we'd never seen before. Airports, bridges, tunnels in New York and New Jersey shut down. Within 30 minutes, President George W. Bush said we were under an apparent terrorist attack. And minutes after that, every airport in the country was closed. That had never happened before. It wasn't over, though. At 9:43 a.m., a third passenger jet crashed into the Pentagon. Dark smoke rolled up from that part of that huge building. All eyes and many cameras were on that and the two burning towers in New York. And as all of us watched at 10:05, one of those towers gave way where it was smoking, the top part crushing down on the rest of it and sending up debris in boiling gray clouds. 5 minutes later, part of the Pentagon collapsed, and a fourth hijacked jet crashed in a rural part of Pennsylvania. The White House, the United Nations, the state and justice departments, the World Bank, all evacuated. America-bound Atlantic flights were rerouted to Canada, and the second Trade Center tower came down at 10:28. So many closings, evacuations, shutdowns. Except for emergency response teams, the heroes of 9/11, the country virtually stopped what it was doing and gathered around TV screens. The president appeared just after 1 p.m. and asked Americans to pray, and there wasn't much else we could do. The destruction was more or less done around 10:30. It was less than 2 hours from the first crash, but the change it inflicted was immeasurable. More Americans were killed on September 11, 2001 than on the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. And when President Bush addressed the nation that night at 8:30, his tone was one of sympathy, resolve, and warning to anyone who'd planned or supported the attacks.
We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbor them.
In the difficult days that followed, we learned that the Al-Qaeda terrorist group, led by Osama bin Laden, was responsible for all of this. And America's attention and anger turned to Afghanistan, whose Taliban leaders were giving Al-Qaeda a safe place to live and operate. The events of a day that changed America. On December 18th, 2001, Congress passed a resolution allowing the president to designate Patriot Day. This has been done on each anniversary of the attacks. Flags are flown at half-staff, Americans pause to remember the victims of September 11th, and memorials, like this new one in rural Pennsylvania, honor the innocent lives lost. The Tower of Voices stands 93 feet tall. It's located on the Flight 93 National Memorial Site near Shanksville. This is where some of the 9/11 hijackers are believed to have intentionally crashed the plane after passengers and crew members tried to get control of it back from the terrorists.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all.
Now for weather.
Hello, this is Jacob with the weather. Today will be a high of 86 and a low of 72, and it will be mostly cloudy.
Now for sports.
Good morning, Viking Country. As always, I'm Noah Stokowski, bringing you the sports on VH Today. We have a lot of football to cover from the Detroit area over the weekend. A lot of overtimes, too. Starting off with MSU, they had a comeback game against Western a week after their poor play against Tulsa. Looking like the cap to my highlighter in those new alternate jerseys, they destroyed the Broncos 51-17. Michigan had a little more of a scare against unranked Army. Army is a tough team, but not tough enough to go to double overtime against the number 7 team in the nation. Michigan looked flat, turning the ball over 3 times in the first half. At the end of regulation, Michigan dodged a bullet when Army's freshman kicker missed a game-winning field goal wide right. In the first overtime, both teams managed to punch in a score. In the second OT, Michigan can only manage a field goal. On an Army third down, the Wolverine defense finally made a big play, stripping the ball from the QB and recovering the fumble. They slipped away with the win in the Week 2 nail-biter, 24-21. On to the NFL. The Lions came out against the Cardinals looking unstoppable. The defense had the Cards' offense to about half as many yards as the Lions' sharp-looking offense. Then the Lions became the Lions. The fourth quarter was all Cardinals as the Lions couldn't get anything going. They were able to give up a 17-6 lead going into the fourth, and the Lions game was in overtime with the teams tied at 24. Both offenses had explosive plays in their first drive of overtime, but both defenses made big stops with the opponents deep in their territory. The teams kicked field goals, and they're both 0-0-1, tying 27-27. That was the sports update in VH Today. I'm Noah Stokowski, signing out.
That's all the news for today. This is Maggie
And Rachel, wishing you a wonderful Wednesday.